What is going on, YouTube? Alright, before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It helps me out a lot. Helps me more than you could ever imagine. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna keep this video nice and short, but I'm just gonna go over who am I, what is my life story, and what do I think I can bring to you as a viewer. Okay, so alright, so started out, so I grew up in a small town in Virginia, pretty much Southwest Virginia, okay? I moved to Southwest Virginia when I think I was like, before I was 10. I don't really know exactly what age I moved there, but I moved there with my mom and dad, and I got a brother too. So growing up, young age, I had a very shattered family. From the beginning, my dad was alcoholic. Obviously, I didn't really get to see it because I was so young, but he used to beat on my mom all the time. So that really affected my brother and me a little bit. Obviously, I was too young to really take that in. But yeah, so that happened. Eventually, they split up. Then a new man came into my life, my stepdad. He taught me a lot with that. I mean, obviously, we didn't get along at times, but just because, you know. But so when I was 11, my grandpa passed away. So that was my first taste of death. Okay. Because of course, growing up as a kid, you always hear about death and you see death, but you never experience death till it happens to you. So that was the first one that hit me. Of course, I was close with my grandpa, but it obviously like wasn't too close because, you know, like I still had a family. I still had my mom, still had my stepdad. So that was the first time I experienced death. Not too hard of a time. So eventually we moved past that. Everything was gone. But then when I was 13, that's when my mom got the call that she had lung cancer. So by then I was 13, so I knew what all that was. So that really played a factor in my life. That hit home. So we was in and out of hospitals dealing with that. And then eventually she beat the cancer, but her immune system was so weak, she passed away. So that's when she passed away when I was 14. So then all I was left with was my stepdad and my brother. So my brother was off. He was in college by now, so he's away at college. So I was stuck with my stepdad, and obviously we were both pretty like broken, so we didn't get along all the time. It was kind of a tough situation to be in. So that taught me a lot. Like that taught me how to get away from that, you know, like to just be alone. So that got me very comfortable with being alone. Which obviously I still have friends and stuff. And right before that, actually, the girl I was with, we broke up. So I was dealing with like both those things. But eventually all that passed, started getting better. And that's when I found my passion for the gym. So I started working out pretty vigorously. And then, of course, I still have friends, but I wasn't really trying to be around them because I was just dealing with that heartbreak inside of myself that was just consuming me every single day. And then, of course, when I did come home, me and my stepdad were getting after it towards each other. Just because, I mean, when you're that broken, it's just negative on negative. So, like, can't really get a positive out of that. So yeah, sometimes I had to stay at my friend's house just because it just gets so heated. And yeah, you'll learn some situations are just not meant to entertain anymore. It's just best to just get out of it, and that was one of those. But yeah, eventually we moved past that, and then so I got into the gym, got into football. So this was about like junior year high school. Got into football, really enjoyed football. Of course, I grew up in a small town, so we weren't the best. So I realized I liked football, but it wasn't really my passion. So I always knew I wanted to do something by myself because I've just been through so much, and I know I can help somebody. So then that's when I really like started thinking about what I could do with content and like what I could do with branding, whatever I wanted to do, because I knew I always felt this big part of my brand, I always felt underrated, like through everything, through football, through life, through jobs, through like any class, whatever. I always felt underrated. I always felt like I was better than the person that was in my spot. So that's what really started me towards that. And like that really kept a competitive fire inside of me because I just knew I was better and I knew I could create. So eventually got through high school, got through football, and then that's when I was like, all right, I want to be a personal trainer because I love the gym and I love talking to people. So I was like, dang, put two and two together. There we go, you know, because I didn't want to waste too much time on my career, like trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do, because I knew I wanted to do something outside of college. Not that college is bad, but some people just aren't made for college. Like I always felt like I was singled out to do something different. So then that's when I was like, all right, can't do that. Plus I didn't want to be in a lot of debt because I didn't have parents. So so I kind of steered away from college, kind of just focused on myself, and I lost a lot of friends in the process, because one thing you don't realize is you're gonna have to give up some friends, because a lot of people, you can't be like everybody else, you know. Like 98% of the population is going to do the exact same thing, like go through a college, get married, have kids, all that. So if you want to be different, then you got to move different. So I really just kind of stuck to myself. Senior year, like I didn't really want to talk to anybody because I was just trying to like stay by myself, because I didn't want to try to fill the void of my mother being gone. So so we got through high school, started going to college, realized it wasn't for me. So I finally worked up and I was like, all right, I want to be a personal trainer like I mentioned before. So I went and took the CPT exam through NASM, so National Academy of Sports Medicine. Failed it 3 times. So on the 3rd time, finally passed it. I studied so much for that. So that really showed me like you wanted this. So I really put some time into that. I was studying like 3-4 hours a night, like just banging out flashcards. I had my roommates working with me, so. Whew. All right, so I finally got through that, barely passed that thing. So I was doing construction at this time, and I was trying to get in the gym to train. But, you know, it's hard when I was 18 at the time trying to get hired at a corporate gym that, you know, like people are out of college or applying for, people that's got job experience. So eventually I kept showing up, kept calling, kept writing letters, whatever I had to do, eventually got hired. So that was a big part. But then I realized like I loved the job and everything about it, but like working for someone is tough, and I just knew it wasn't for me. Like I just don't like being bossed around. And so I was personal training for a little bit, loved personal training. It's a fun career, but then I realized like content is really what I want to do and like what I want to create. And I wanted to be well-rounded in all areas, whether that's like mindset, fitness, branding, and then just like helping overall. Eventually I want to make a mindset course, kind of like a mentoring course, but something a little bit in depth, because I really just want to create as much value as I possibly can with that. So it's going to take me a little time, but I want to create that, because when I knew when I was by myself in those times, I knew I could literally create a brand new mindset from the bottom, which is what I did. Because I never wanted pity from anybody at school. Because like going to school after your parents die, I mean that's some crazy stuff right there, because everybody's like staring at you weird, like, oh my god, like his parents died. So being able to come back from that, and of course it affected me for a little while, but I really just got past it, because once you're alone, you learn to just be alone, and like that's like one of the most calming but yet scary things as well. So eventually, so we're in 2022 now. This year started, and like it started off with a bang, man, with a bang. So I was just getting hit left and right. Like my car was breaking down. Some things was happening with my friends. Some things was happening with this girl. So I was just getting hit, bang, bang, bang. So I was like, what am I gonna do? So that's probably one of the most down bad I've ever been. Top 2. So that was the most down bad I've ever been. So I eventually got through that. So this is past April by now. So eventually got past that, and I started building back up again. So I always struggle with consistency. I got a video coming out about motivation. So I always struggled about consistency, and I eventually got not just motivated but driven. So because motivation, there's drive and discipline, and that's what you got to get to if you want to get past motivation. So I eventually got to that, started posting every day, and I realized like you don't have to make every post perfect. Okay, like people that genuinely like can tell that you want to help them or that you want to improve them in any way are gonna watch you and are gonna support you. So the people that just hate on you, that's just part of it, man. That's just part of the plan. You just gotta ignore it and just accept it that not everyone is gonna like you. As long as you go out on this earth with a positive vibe and that you're trying to help, that's all you can do. You know, that's all you can do. Just let the universe do the rest and just see what happens. So anyways, yeah, so got through all that, and then right when life was starting to go up, like I had my brand going, TikTok was kind of starting to take off. I could finally go live, so I finally got enough followers, everything to go live. That's when my dad passed away. So of course I wasn't super close with my dad just because he was kind of like an alcoholic, so wasn't really there too much for my brother. He's kind of just by himself and kind of just out of the way. But I mean, that just hit me too, because it was like, dang, I had like no blood family left, so it was like super hard time through there. And of course I didn't really show it because I was just kind of used to it, but that kind of hit home again. And then I started getting in another slump again, so I pulled myself out of that finally. So getting out of that slump was obviously one of the hardest things I've done again. But then once I got past that slump, I got the motivation, I got the drive back, and here we are, man. The biggest thing is just life's gonna throw you challenges, so you gotta get through it and just come out a better person and just spread love. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like, subscribe button. Catch y'all on the flip side, man.